Hey, soul survivors. I was watching a video by Teal Swan, and she had said that codependency is actually covert narcissism. I'd like to get to know what you guys have to say. There is some debate on that, and there's also debate on can being in a narcissistic relationship turn you into a narcissist? Is CPTSD a byproduct of the trauma that we go through? And can we create a borderline personality? So with the codependency, some of us are predisposed to that, where we will be codependent, where we almost can't function without the other person. But sometimes over time, the narcissist wears you down and you become dependent on them. So it's really important in relationships to stay true to yourself. If you like going to dance classes, keep going to dance classes. If you want to go to college, do that. Whatever makes you feel whole, because when we start giving too much of ourselves or sacrificing too much of the dreams that we've had, too many of the dreams that we've had, that it starts changing us. So you can become dependent on, if they're always being the one handling the finances. Now, sometimes there is financial abuse where the narcissist will use that to control you, and they can do that through finances. They don't give you gas money, you can't go do certain things, or they don't want you looking good for somebody else out of fear that you're going to stray. So if you want to get dressed up to go to church, they might be a little leery that you might attract some eyes. So they can control what you wear, what you eat. All these kind of things are controlled. And my degree's in criminal justice. Over 7 years is when a prisoner will be broken, and the system can kind of control them a little bit more. It's almost like they give up, that they're in there, they're fed, they're this, they're that, they get used to the schedule, and it's almost where it becomes robotic. So you can actually break a prisoner after 7 years. Not all, but on average. So we can become broken. We can get used to certain things and not able to function. Just like the prisoner, if they're in there for 7 years, they feel really lost in the world. For one thing, there's changes, whether it's technology or, after COVID, how things changed, that they don't know how to adapt. So when you're in these relationships, you start to become dependent. Now, how does that relate to covert narcissism? If somebody has covert narcissism, think of covert, covered, where it's hidden, it's covered. You can't really tell that this person is a narcissist. They seem nice, they seem charming, this, that, they seem highly functioning. And what happens is, in narcissism, it's to control another person so you can feel comfortable, so you can get what you want. And there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. So narcissism is a survival technique. So when you start getting in this relationship, you got to survive. So maybe you're afraid, maybe you have a physically abusive one, so you might lie to calm them, so you don't want to upset them. And you might want to create a certain image, because now you're starting to feel like you're just going to get discarded again. So you might lie, yeah, I worked out today, or yeah, I stuck to my diet, or whatever the lie might be. I went looking for a second job, where you're like, I'm already so exhausted and I just don't want to get them upset. So we start saying things that are technically lies, and narcissists lie. So when you are codependent, you kind of can't function without that other person. So you're going to hold on for dear life. And when you start feeling the slip away, because the narcissist loves to discard, that you might try to reconnect because you feel where you're not whole, and you want to feel whole. And relationships become dependent when the purpose of them, even if it's subconscious, we don't always realize it, but the purpose of these relationships start being where we're trying to fill a void. And with narcissism, that the narcissist takes so much from us that our hole becomes deeper. So we become more needy of this connection and more connected, which is that trauma bond. The trauma bond is formed by intermittent reinforcement. So just like every time you get a deeper hole, you need a deeper connection. And without that, you feel more and more lost. So you're trying to survive, whether it's to protect yourself, to create an image because you feel that, how am I going to get them to love me again? That you might start making up lies like I'm really popular at work, or I met new friends and everybody really loves the project that I did. And you're hiding that your project failed or you had a hard time at work. So there's not a true relationship because you didn't, let them know I'm having a bad day. And then if you get fired, you might make up a story. And these are, like I said, survival techniques, but they destroy the relationship, or they keep the relationship at a different level. It's all based on lies. I have a great job. Everybody loves me. We can't be open. And when you can't be open, you're not expressing your true self. And when you don't express your true self, you start losing it. Use it or lose it. And the hidden lies, you're going to start to get better at them. Practice makes perfect, and it's not a good thing to do, but it can start to happen. So there is some truth to it, that when you become codependent and things get rocky, just like with a narcissist, when things start getting rocky, that's when things turn toxic. They can seem great, but they're great when the narcissist gets what they want. And then they throw a little fit. They feel entitled to things. They want to control the situation. And in their mind, sometimes they feel that they're doing the right thing, or they will justify it. So if they're putting a tracker on your car and they can justify it, like, I just want to know that you're safe in case you get in a car accident, I know where to come. And that might be true if you guys discuss it, but a lot of times they do sneaky things. So you start being paranoid. And when I got a call coming in. So be cautious of being in these relationships when they start turning toxic. It's when you don't know what reality is. You don't have a true connection. There's lies that start to infiltrate the relationship. So keeping the relationship alive is a fantasy relationship. And once some of these lies are found out, that can be even more toxic, because narcissists do have feelings. They can get hurt or angry if you lie to them, just like we can. So if we're both lying to keep a relationship, for one thing, it's stressful trying to remember what lies, trying to think of lies, trying to think ahead of what you have to say and how to counter different things. What feeling are they going to bring to the relationship today? So there's a lot of stress, and the higher the stress is, the more you're going to need those survival techniques. So when people are in healthy relationships, there's not that need to deceive or to hide. And it's shame-based. Sometimes you feel like I'm not lovable because the narcissist keeps discarding me, or sometimes we get so frustrated we discard them, but a lot of times we feel them pulling away and it leaves us uncomfortable. And when we're to that point where we need another person, it becomes a parasitic relationship, and that's not healthy. We have to be able to stand on our own, because people pass away, people get injured, maybe in a coma, and we have to be whole in ourselves. We also have to be whole for our children or grandchildren. And the more whole you are, the easier work will be. When work is easy, it's easier to climb up the ladder. It's easier to get more financial stability. Things start to fall in place. And same with relationships, they should grow. But if you notice across all these different YouTube channels where how they keep saying, as soon as the narcissist relaxes, is in a good mood, that's when we finally feel that we can talk to them. And there's a lot of ups and downs, because as soon as something's good, it turns negative because they don't want to talk about negative things. And it's this, you know, who's doing the up and down and what's the outcome of it going to be? And it's very unstable. So the lies cause that fantasy. But I did another video where I could tell you guys I'm Miss America. But deep inside, I know I'm not. And if you guys are congratulating me on being Miss America, it's not really going to feel good. After a while, the more I hear it, either I'll believe it or it's going to get really uncomfortable. Like, man, there's no way they believe this, or how am I going to do this? Or are they going to go online and double check? I know I'm not. But it starts changing you. What do I have to hide? How am I going to tell these stories? And it just falls apart. So be aware that toxicity can change who you are. It can give you CPTSD. It can give you traits that are similar, if not mirroring, borderline or covert narcissism or narcissism. Overt is over the top, depending on who you are. You might be very boisterous and had enough, so now you're going to break free and feel entitled to certain things. So I see a lot of people wanting to get revenge. Is that who you are? And what's the outcome of it going to be? So my suggestion, you guys can take it or leave it, is stay true to yourself. Two wrongs don't make a right. Don't risk a criminal charge or a change in how others perceive you, because your friends, new relationships will see the actions that you've done. And the way people are, sometimes they will judge you on the past and you won't be able to shake it sometimes. Some people will forgive or understand, or some might even laugh it off like, oh, that's kind of cool. But be careful of the people that you develop relationships with, because some people are toxic. Some people are violent. And also with drug and alcohol use, that can alter personalities, make people unpredictable. And in general, I'm not afraid of people. But what does scare me is when people are unpredictable, because you have no clue how to defend yourself. And that's what a relationship is like with the narcissist. You don't know what's going to come your way. You think you might have a faithful relationship. You're good, STD free. If they're cheating and not telling you, things can happen. Narcissists sometimes will try to either trap you with pregnancy or try to either get pregnant or create a baby with you. So just be careful. They can alter your life in an instant, and they can also discard really quickly, move on very quickly. And a lot of times they do that monkey branching where they've already started a relationship and they're not fair to you and they're just destroying you. Some of them want to hurt you so bad that you're the one that leaves. And they do that so they don't have to take accountability, so they can shift the blame onto you. They will tell people it's all your fault. So know that regardless of who's to blame, narcissism will change another person if you stay in it too long. I hope that was helpful.